Yeah.
This is Bobby Okereke, inside linebacker for the Indianapolis Colts, and you are tuning into the Blue Stable Podcast.
Welcome back to the Blue Stable Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, as always, Michael Pevia, joined by me, Culture Shock. Marcus, man, how you doing? It's been a while. It's been maybe a week since we last talked about the preview going into the Denver game. I went in, I chose the Colts to take the loss. It felt like they did lose, honestly, but Marcus, you went with the Colts on this one. So since that game has ended, we've had a little bit of time to dissect the game a little bit, and man, it really did feel like we were dissecting something literally because of just how sad it was. But other than that, how were you feeling watching the game last Thursday?
I tried to warn you. I said the Colts was going to win. And I predicted that the Colts are probably going to beat that whole division. But that's a conversation for another story. But right now, I'm feeling content with how things are going. We still have issues to discuss later in the show. But right now, I'm totally fine at the moment.
Yeah, and if you guys are tuning in for the first time, if you're a constant here and you haven't already, make sure you leave a like, a thumbs up on YouTube or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite podcast out there. Make sure you subscribe and comment down below. What was your thoughts on that Thursday night game? And especially some things we're going to talk about in the show. Who is your starting five that you would have on the offensive line? We're also going to talk about this weekend's big game against Jacksonville. Look into that. So please, anything you have, what's your starting five? What was your thoughts about the game on Thursday? Let us know down below in the comment section. It would be much appreciated. And make sure you are subscribed and hit the notification bell. That way you are notified anytime content drops on the Blue Stable page. So getting into it, where it's a little bit of a delayed episode, not necessarily, it was intended. We're going to do half and half, talk about some problems that we saw from Thursday, and then get into the game on Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So talking about the game, we're not going to do our usual what we liked, what we didn't like. It's pretty obvious to watch that game and talk about what was not good and what was not right. And everything that's not right is going to have to do with the offense. Shout out to the defense. They made it the game. They won the game for us, them and Chase McLaughlin, who ended up winning AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Shout out to him for 4 on his field goals, especially 3 of them being past 48 yards. Never thought you would hear that as a Colts fan this season, but that's a thing, Culture Shock. So the offensive line, a big problem. I thought it was pretty weird. I haven't been necessarily outspoken about it. I was excited about it. I was happy to see some change along the offensive line. You saw Bernhard Raimann was going to be the starting left tackle. Braden Smith moved over to right guard. Matt Pryor moved over to right tackle. And I'm sitting there thinking, I think it was good that they're changing and they know they need to change. But at the same time, on a short week, no practice time, no game planning, just throw 5 guys who've never played together and say, hey, look, on prime time, go stop the Broncos pass rush. Bernhard Raimann did have his first start, pretty bad performance. I mean, 3rd round rookie, first game under the lights. I'm not even going to put that on him. It was his welcome to the NFL game. He's a rookie. He gets that benefit of the doubt. That it is what it is, okay? And already, hell, I think I just heard another whistle. I think Bernhard Raimann got called for another hold, I think. So it's still a major factor going on so far. So talking about the offensive line, Marcus, it was abysmal. Most importantly, the tackle play. Pressure was coming from everywhere. Bernhard Raimann was allowing pressure. Matt Pryor, I don't even think he was trying out there. I mean, hell, a fly could have just whipped by him. It was bad. But overall, from the offensive line play, we already know, but we're about to give some grades out here right now. What is a grade you would give to the offensive line?
I would give the offensive line a C plus. I only give it a C plus because we won the game. So I mean, if we would have lost, it would have been a F, like no question. But I mean, C plus because we won. That's what we wanted anyway, a victory to move forward and try to win this easy division this year. So C plus. Of course, they played terribly, but they played terribly enough to win the game. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. Of course, we need to make changes still at the offensive line position. They're still rotating pieces, playing chess with this when it's not that hard, to be honest. I think Colts fans figured it out at this point. Why they didn't figure it out yet, I have no clue. But overall grade, I give it a C plus, just because we won.
C plus just because you won. I was curious if you were to give a grade out there. I wanted to know what that would be. Talking about the changes, why they were so sudden on a short week, Marcus. They didn't just if you would have just pulled Matt Pryor and started Bernhard Raimann, okay, that's one thing. But Marcus, they made 3 drastic changes on 5 spots on the offensive line. Left tackle, right guard, right tackle. That is a drastic change. That is a huge change. 60% of your offensive line is different at different spots. Everybody's punching bag and Baron Browning's punching bag on Thursday was Matt Pryor, okay? I get it, all right? Everybody knows I'm a huge Matt Pryor fan, former TCU Horned Frog, all that stuff, okay? I love Matt Pryor. He was the worst player in the stadium on Thursday night. The worst player. I don't even think there was a debate. I mean, Bernhard Raimann was bad. But then Matt Pryor, and then there was a gap, and then there was everybody else. That's how bad he was. I do hold Matt Pryor accountable. Absolutely. You're a vet in this league. You don't necessarily get the benefit of the doubt like a Bernhard Raimann would because he's a third-round rookie, right? He's a third-round rookie. You're not expecting him to come out and shut down Bradley Chubb for 60-plus plays. Not going to happen. But also, at the same time, something I never really saw out there was blame for Frank Reich, Chris Strasser. Why are you making this drastic change on a short week? Bernhard Raimann, okay, that's his position. But also, Braden Smith going from right tackle to right guard. Marcus, if Braden Smith is your right guard for the rest of the season, what are we doing? What are we doing? You're telling me the answer to getting to a Super Bowl is to have $300 million in the interior of the line and no money at tackle? Really? There's no way they could be telling us that, Marcus. There's no way. I get why Braden Smith was there at right guard, but he needs to be at right tackle. Another issue that I had with it was Matt Pryor. Inconsistency. And I put this on the shoulders of Chris Ballard. Matt Pryor was shocked. Matt Pryor, you're going to be the starting left tackle. The fuck? Huh? What? He was shocked. That was his reaction. Marcus, he is a guard. He has never in his football career, and I've researched it, high school, college, NFL, I, for one, would know better than probably a lot of people talking about Matt Pryor because I watched every snap of his at TCU. He never came close to left tackle. He was never tried out in practice at left tackle. Never. So you know what he does? Hires a new trainer. Cuts down his diet, sheds some pounds, everything about his mental and his physical prepared for left tackle, a position he never prepared for in his life. 4 weeks into the season, you know what they did? Hey, you're going back to right tackle. What? What? You're putting me back at right tackle? So not only are you putting me back at right tackle, but I'm getting no practice reps against live action? No game planning? No nothing? What? And this problem never would have occurred, Marcus, if jobs weren't just handed out. I get everybody doesn't like Matt Pryor. But Marcus, can I take you back to last year when Matt Pryor was performing well at right tackle? Eric Fisher was bad at left tackle? Marcus, you remember whose name kept popping up in Colts Twitter about replacing Eric Fisher? Who was that name?
Matt Pryor?
Matt Pryor. And now, 8 months later, Matt Pryor sucks. Why is he out here? Y'all were calling for him too. I'm not going to let Colts Nation off the hook with this. You guys were calling for him too. Because Eric Fisher was bad, you called for him too. So clearly you and Chris Ballard saw something there. It's just that he's the general manager. He never attacks the problem seriously. Never. My issue right now is we may never find the answer at all in the offensive line. The right starting five, Marcus, I don't believe is on the roster. The right starting five, maybe the right starting three, but the right starting five is probably not even on the roster. So I feel like this constant shuffling, putting guys together that have never played together. Again, in big games. How monumental is this game against Jacksonville, Marcus? How monumental is the game next week going to be in Tennessee? So let me get this straight. If they pull Matt Pryor and he's on the bench and Matt Ryan is sacked 7 times, who are you going to blame? Matt Pryor? Why? Who is the next punching bag? Because there's only so many excuses, Marcus. There's only so many guys you can blame. What is your opinion on the drastic changes, and do you think they should have made those Thursday night?
Well, to blame Matt Pryor, we do need a scapegoat. So, unfortunately, Matt, I'm sorry, but it'll have to be you. For the drastic change, I mean, I think we all were shocked. We kind of wanted this change to happen the week before the short week, but, knowing the Colts, here's a surprise for you. And, especially being in prime time, even though we played pretty decently on prime time to win a game, I'm not worried about that decision, but the offensive line is a big issue that's been going on since week 1. Week 2, I would say, was probably the worst, and this probably should have been changed after that. But for the offensive line structure, the left tackle is one of the most important positions in the NFL. How could you not address this issue from last year? You go with a guy that's already on a roster that doesn't play that position. You put him there, and he really has no experience, and you just throw him out there into the Sharks. And you know how important that position is, especially with Quentin Nelson next to you. Putting more workload on him, have him looking like he doesn't even know what he's doing, like he's not an all-pro at all. It's just flat out embarrassing to be a Colts fan in general. It's like, do you know what you're doing at your job? Like, this whole offensive line structure, all this money investment, why are you switching these positions if you put money into it? They should be out there doing their job. It just doesn't make sense to me personally. If they're ever going to figure this core out for the rest of this season, I hope so. Hopefully, they'll probably get some advice from Twitter, because obviously giving them the license to do these things on their own is just not working, because they're just having Matt Ryan see ghosts week after week after week. I would love to see what Matt Ryan can actually do with a secure pocket to give him time to throw the football. Lord knows what that might look like. But as for general, on a short week of these offensive line changes, it's just unacceptable, to be honest.
And I really hate this for Matt Pryor, man. And I hate to keep talking about him because he is one of the worst players on the roster right now with these performances. But the Colts have done him no favors. They put him at a spot he's never played in his life. And now you're taking him out of that position, putting him at another position that he didn't train for on a short week and is bad. You know what that does to a player's confidence like that? So his confidence is completely shot now. It's shot. And a lot of players play in their mental. A lot of it is their mental, Marcus. You know this. A lot of people that watch this who have played sports on any level. You don't have to be a professional athlete to know this thing that I'm about to say. Your confidence in your abilities and yourself means a lot to the player. In any sport, if you're not confident, it's going to show. Whether if in the box score, on the tennis court, on the golf grass, I don't know what they call that. I don't watch that sport. But you know what I'm getting at. Any sport, if the confidence is not there, the play is not going to be there. They've done this man no favors. No favors whatsoever. Speeding up, moving on. I don't want to talk about, one of the worst players on the roster for so long. But what should the starting five moving forward be? That's what we're about to get into right now. Again, if y'all haven't already, make sure y'all comment down below. Who do you think the starting five should be? And that's what we're about to get into right now. My starting five, I'm going to throw out there. Marcus, I have it up right here. Left tackle, the Colts have already come out and said it. Bernhard Raimann. I think, even though it was a bad one, it's one that you can like slip under the rug, right? A short week. I've already said it before. Short week. He's a rookie. This was his welcome to the NFL game. Got his ass kicked. Okay. Learn from it. Get in film study. Sweep it under the rug. Act like it never happened. I'm going to act like it never happened. So Bernhard Raimann, Quentin Nelson. I'm putting Danny Pinter in place of Ryan Kelly. Whether Ryan Kelly is healthy or not, I'm putting Danny Pinter there. I can't argue with the results. Ryan Kelly has been average at best at the center position, and that's not what the Colts are paying for. That is not what they're paying for. But it's evident, isn't it, Marcus? Danny Pinter performs better at center. So for that reason, I'm going to put him at center. Right guard, I'm going to go with Will Fries on this one. I think pass protection, going back to when he started against the Tennessee Titans, I thought he did a solid job against Jeffrey Simmons. Now, again, he's Jeffrey Simmons. You're not going to win too many reps with the guy. But at the same time, the pass protection was a little bit better from the interior of the line. Right tackle, I'm putting Braden Smith back at right tackle because guess what? That's what his contract is. Right tackle money. I refuse. And I've seen people out there, and I get it. I want to get into that Braden Smith at right tackle and maybe even Dennis Kelly at right tackle. I've seen that. But you're not paying Braden Smith to be a right guard. You paid him to be a right tackle. So he needs to stay at right tackle. I don't like, to me, that's my five. Raimann, Nelson, Pinter, Fries, Smith. Where are you going, Marcus?
I like that five. I'm not going to lie to it. Mine's is similar a little bit, but I changed that to right guard position. So left tackle, we all know Bernard's got that spot. Left guard is, of course, Quentin Nelson, no question. Center is Danny Pinter. Right guard, I'm gonna go with Braden Smith. He is a vet. I feel like he can figure it out, especially if he has the spot over a multitude of games. Because I think switching in and out during games definitely plays a big role, and it definitely affects the technique of a player at a certain position for sure. So I'm gonna go with Braden Smith at right guard. And right tackle, I would love to use Dennis Kelly. I mean, the guy is on the roster. He hasn't been used yet. Hasn't been touched. He is a vet as well. I think more veteran experience definitely helps this offensive line, especially a guy that plays that position his whole career almost. Definitely helps for sure. Him being on the roster and not being used, the healthy scratch is just unacceptable for sure. I mean, I don't know what the issue is or why he's not being used. Maybe you may know, but if we had the choice to make that position, I would put him at right tackle. So my top five would be Bernard, Nelson, Danny Pinter, Braden Smith, and Dennis Kelly.
Solid five. I was contemplating whether, because he is a natural guard, I was contemplating whether to put Matt Pryor at right guard, Smith at right tackle, but I feel like after Thursday's performance, the organization, the team should send a message to the team, about accountability, about you need to perform up to your standards. That's why I didn't put Matt Pryor in the starting five, because at some point you have to hold somebody accountable and make a statement to the rest of the team. If you don't perform your job well, you are not going to play. Simple as that. And I like that starting five as well. Smith at four, or at the four like we're doing basketball. At right guard, Dennis Kelly at right tackle. I get it. He performed well in Tennessee at right tackle. I just can't get over the $85 million, Marcus. I'm sorry. I can't get over it. I'm not about to sit here and have $250 million invested in guards, damn it. That's like complete reverse football team building. That should be in your tackles, not your guards. Like, again, I put this on Chris Ballard. He came up and said he was smarter than everybody. He knows football better than everybody. and Matt Pryor can be the left tackle. No, I don't need Teron Armstead. I don't need Dwayne Brown. I don't need any of these cats coming out of the draft. Anything. I don't need them. Matt Pryor's the guy. Danny Pinter, natural center, performed best at center, never played right guard. Oh, guess what? It's your job. You know why? Because I think you're better and I'm smarter than everybody. I put this on Chris Ballard. But I think one of those two, the one I mentioned, the one you mentioned, which is the one that's being put out there frequently, by the way, I think that has the potential to work. But just me personally, Marcus, I can't ignore that $85 million. I can't. He's getting paid to be a tackle. Do you understand? Like, what is your feel on that? Like, do you understand where I'm coming from? I get where you're coming from on Dennis Kelly. Totally get it. Dude, I can't ignore the $85 million. I can't.
Yeah, I get what you're coming from. At a certain point, I feel like the Colts are used to wasting money on talent and not living up to their potential. So it kind of is what it is
God
at the end of
damn.
the day. So that's like, I mean, yeah, you paid it, but oh well, let's just move on. I mean, we had the money to blow it, but we just decided to sign our players, and that's just Ballard logic. Paying the guys that's on the team and building through the draft. That's been his whole process since he's been here. So it's been a draining experiment, especially as a Colts fan to watch. But I mean, we did have plenty of chances to get talent out of free agency. There was a guy in Baltimore that didn't want to be there anymore to play his true position, and we didn't go make a trade for him, and he went for freaking Cheetos into a better position and a better chance to actually play. So, I mean, we just blow opportunities to build our roster and be better in the future every time. So I'm not surprised.
Now, this is truly, truly, truly hindsight. I've seen it flirted a little bit on Twitter. I even flirted with it a little bit. Go back to the 2021 draft, first round. People are contemplating, did the Colts make the right pick in taking Kwity Paye because Christian Darrisaw was right there? He went to the Vikings 2 picks later. I think that's really hindsight, man. I get it. I think personally, if I had to list the 3 most important positions in football, I'd go quarterback, edge rusher, left tackle. There's some people that would go quarterback, left tackle, edge rusher. And I get all of that. I do think those are the 3 most important. But me personally, I can't argue taking a pass rusher. I can't argue that. I can't argue it's a pass rusher, right? But at the same time, you kind of knew a little bit of what Christian Darrisaw could be, and Kwity Paye was like a high talent pick. So I don't know. That's a little interesting conversation. I think we need to let the rest of the rookie contracts play out before we truly get into that debate. And for Chris Ballard's job, his ass, for his sake, he better hope that he made the right one. Shout out Kwity Paye, by the way. Glad his injury Thursday night was not anything serious. Switching the field here a little bit, going to the defense, they shine, man. DeForest Buckner, welcome to the party. It's about time. Kenny Moore, it's about time. Welcome to the party. They had really solid games. Pass rush was there. They were able to affect Russell Wilson. Marcus, what? Did the Colts catch a break by not getting Russell Wilson? This dude is bad all of a sudden. I mean, he was showing some signs the last 2 years in Seattle, but man, dude, this guy is bad. And yes, I can admit it. The Colts are lucky that they won that game in Thursday because the play was the right play. KJ Hamler, legit, wide open, a pick slant, literally right there for a touchdown. Russell Wilson doesn't even look his way. And here's the blasphemous thing about it, Marcus. That play was designed to go to Hamler, and Wilson didn't even look his way. That's crazy.
Yeah, it looked like they ran that play, but it was flipped on the opposite side because they did the same route, but he just looked to the left side of the field instead of the right, and he just missed them completely wide open. I mean, if we're being honest, this is definitely Russell Wilson-esque play when it comes to the final moments in the end zone. He's known to throwing a pick. Super Bowl, hello, did we forget? So, I mean, he tried Gilmore. Why? I don't know. I mean, he tested him all year. I mean, all game. So it was only a matter of time for him to actually, step up to the plate. And shout out to Stephon Gilmore for that. That's a huge play, especially for a former All-Pro. He made his sighting. He let the league, the NFL know that he's still here. He's still that dog. He let us know, thank God, because we definitely wanted to figure that out as well. But when it comes to Russell Wilson, I kind of predicted this. I'm not even trying to pat myself on the back, but I threw like a rabbit in the hat.
Debatable.
I said the Broncos will not make the playoffs. I said that at the beginning of the season before it even started because I was like, it's too many teams in that division and in the AFC. One of them had to stink. And if I was just thinking, I was like, it's probably going to be the Broncos because Russell Wilson's last year in Seattle wasn't all the way great either. I mean, of course he was in the nod for doing this, but in the second half he just started seeing ghosts out of nowhere. So I was like, So I definitely want to pat the GM for the Seahawks and the Falcons because both of them were geniuses. Because when we looked at it, it was like they getting traded. You getting rid of Russell Wilson? You getting rid of Matt Ryan? And now when you look at it, it's like, oh, they might have been onto something. So hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. Like I said, poor offensive line play is going to hinder your quarterback, no matter who it is. It can be no QB is going to be successful in a system with a terrible offensive line. I don't care who it is. It could be Brady, Aaron Rodgers. It could be the GOAT Peyton Manning himself. He's going to see ghosts if he doesn't have any protection. So I think that's what the role that's playing for both of these quarterbacks. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree as well, man. Stephon Gilmore definitely turned back the clock on that play, man. Challenging Russell Wilson. And that's kind of what puzzled me a little bit. Right there, you had the game won. You were right there in the red zone. 2:39, I believe, left to play. You're literally right there, and you're passing the ball. Richard Sherman went crazy post-game about it. Why are you passing the ball? Why are you going for the kill shot? That is a game that you don't go for the kill shot in because you don't know if you're ever going to get that chance again. Why? Why not just take the points and make the Colts have to score a touchdown? Make them have to go 80 yards, 90 yards. Thank God for the Broncos' stupidity. Thank God for Russell Wilson's inaccuracy. Just thank God for all that because the Colts were really handed this game, if I have to be honest with it, man. They were really handed this game. It was on a silver platter. And also, shout out, Rodney Thomas, baby! Rodney Thomas. I'd say some other stuff, man, but we got to keep things PG around here. Try to tell y'all, man, this dude's a baller. You know, man, he ain't too raw. Moment's not too big for him. Come on, man. His play says it for himself, man. Defense played one hell of a game. Marcus, did you know Zaire Franklin is tied for first place in the NFL in tackles? That is something that went way over my head this whole entire season. Zaire Franklin, and for everybody that keeps dogging Gus Bradley, oh, he's not a Matt Eberflus. He doesn't take the ball away. Well, you know what? Matt Eberflus had him as a special teams guy. Gus Bradley is making him the leader in tackles in the entire NFL. There's levels to this, children. There's levels. Chess, not checkers. Algebra, not whatever second grade math Matt Eberflus does, okay? None whatsoever. All right? Let's get it going. Let's keep things moving here. And we're going to go ahead and put that to the side of us again. On behalf of the Blue Stable, we do apologize that everybody had to watch that game. I still can't get out of my head. Overtime, prime time, the home team's fans are filing out of the stadium. I tweeted it. As bad as things are for Colts fans right now, it's not worse than Denver. It is not worse. That is embarrassing, Marcus. Prime time, overtime, Russell Wilson in house, and your fans are rushing to beat traffic. Damn. And you said earlier you were right about Denver. One of these teams in the AFC West have to suck. There's two teams in the AFC West that suck. Las Vegas. But who knows? Maybe the Colts might do a Colts and lose to them anyway. So it probably doesn't even matter that I'm saying it right now. I get it, Marcus. But we're going to put that game behind us. The defense showed out. The offense sucked. Chase McLaughlin's the greatest. We all get it. All right. So moving on to this game. Huge game. Back home in front of the home crowd. I really hope the stadium doesn't put out some fake tweet talking about this game is sold out. Man, ain't nobody selling out this damn game. They ain't nobody selling out this product for what it's been. Nobody. I better not see that tweet out on Twitter. I'm gonna go crazy. Yeah, I better not see a sold out tweet. I better not. I will put my house that is being built right now on the line. That's what I'll do. That's how confident I am in it. So, getting into this game between the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars, we all know what happened a month ago. Shut out. 0 points. Zero. Nada. All right? Horrible. Now, you have a little chance at revenge. Maybe not a chance. There's a need for revenge in this game, Marcus. Would you say, before we get into it, would you say this game is a must win?
Yes.
Yes. Simple, quick, and easy. And as bad as the Colts have been, Marcus, there's still half a game. 0.5. Not even a full number. Not even a whole number. A decimal number away from being in first place of the AFC South. This division sucks, but you know what? Somebody's got to win it. And I felt very torn on Thursday. Do I want this team to lose so we can start doing mock drafts? Or do I want this team to win because somebody is getting a home playoff game? And if you get into the playoffs, just get there. Anything can happen at that point. I have to sit here and say, I know people kind of clown and everything on people who say, oh, yeah, let's tank. But I will say this. If this team decided, if Jim Irsay decided mid-season, Chris Ballard, you're out. Frank Reich, you're out. We're tearing it down. I would be the happiest person alive. But also, if there is a chance to win a division, knowing at the end of the tunnel is a home playoff game, you got to go for it. You got to go for it. You got to. And that was a little bit of a discussion last year with Carson Wentz. I brought up, should the Colts just go ahead and sit him to keep that first round pick? You saw Tennessee was struggling a little bit. You know, they were losing a couple games here and there, maybe some games they shouldn't have lost. Opened up a door for Indianapolis. And they closed it on themselves, obviously. We know the story. But it just goes to show you, if there is a chance to get into the dance, you have to go for it. You have to. So right now, I'm not even thinking about draft anymore. You have a chance to get ahead. 2 straight division games, 3 games played so far, 0 wins. That has to stop. And I might even say these next 2 games are going to decide the season right here. If you lose these next 2 games, I don't know what more to tell you. Because right after Tennessee, you know who's coming to town, Marcus? A pissed off Carson Wentz. We can talk about him being bad. We can talk about, oh, that's a Carson Wentz interception. We've seen it firsthand. When he is on his P's and Q's, Marcus, there ain't nothing stopping him. We've seen that before, haven't we? With our own eyes, in our own jerseys. We've seen that. You still got Philadelphia. Dallas's defense. I don't give a damn who's the tackles over there. Y'all just getting y'all's asses whooped, regardless of who's there. Bernard Ryman Sauce, Ryman Noodles, whoever the hell is out there, it's not looking good against Micah Parsons and company. But as of right now, you have a chance, right? So let's go ahead and talk about it. The Colts are coming in 2-2-1. Man, there was almost a chance we could have been 1-2-2. Man, that would have been such a weird record. But just breaking down the game right now, both offenses, Jacksonville doing a solid job, 22 points a game. The Colts, 13.8 points a game. Points allowed per game. Both teams are actually doing pretty solid, and these are good numbers in the NFL. Jacksonville allowing 16, Indianapolis allowing 18 total yards. Kind of the same here. You got Jacksonville at 261, Indianapolis at 366. So talking about it right there, both offenses, all right? For the Colts offense, we know what it's about. We know what was hurting them. Josh Allen, pass rusher Josh Allen, Tracy Walker and company getting after the tackles. Braden Smith himself was even having trouble in this game. Matt Pryor was getting killed against Josh Allen. Now it looks like you're going to have Ryman and Smith, or Ryman and Kelly, Dennis Kelly, that is, at the tackle position. Most importantly, the edge has got to be protected. Whatever the case may be. I don't care at a certain point this season, Marcus. There's gonna come a point in time for me where I don't care if Bernhard Raimann is a rookie anymore. He is put in this position. People kept propping him up. Okay, it's time to go out there and play. At some point, we're gonna get there. We're not there yet. At some point, we're gonna get there. So for me, the offensive line, once again, this game is gonna be won in the trenches. Whether if the Colts want to block, pass block, run block, whatever the case may be, you have to be able to get the run game going. The run game is nowhere near what Frank Reich wants it to be. They're averaging 91 yards a game, not where Frank Reich wants to be. He wants to be around that 130, right, that 140. He wants to be around there. So for me, the offensive line is going to have to do its thing in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I was on the last 2 weeks, I was talking about Alec Pierce stepping up. And he has been doing that because we mentioned how Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be a dog, and we mentioned how someone else is going to have to step up to the plate. All credit to Ashton Doolin. But, you know, now I'm going to focus more on the offensive line this game because we're going to need them more than ever. This could be a potential win streak for the Indianapolis Colts. We did just win in Denver. And this game, we're usually known for being good against the Jaguars at home. Last year, we got saved with the Hurricane Dio fumble. But we're used to doing pretty decent against the Jaguars at home, so we can pretty much hold our own. Last time we played Tennessee at home, you know, it came down to the final seconds, and Carson Wentz, basically. But like I said, this could be a potential win streak for the Indianapolis Colts that we desperately need. We need that momentum right now, and it's all going to come down to the offensive line. Can this be the core that we can keep together and we can stop switching? Because we can't keep switching the offensive line and want to make the playoffs in the same time. Of course, we know this division is NFC East basically for this year. Last year, the NFC East, somebody had like 6 wins or something like that and made the playoffs. It was something crazy. It's going to be like that this year for the Colts, in my opinion. Not record-wise, but play-wise. We're all playing poorly, in my opinion. But I feel like this game could be huge for Matt Ryan if he can get some type of protection from the offensive line. If he can get that, I feel like we're going to have a good football day, and Colts fans are going to love it because I feel like they play better at home anyway.
Do they?
Yeah, I do. I think personally they play better at home. But that crowd, like, it was electric last time I watched the game when they was at home. Even though they probably lost, but you know it is what it is.
Yeah, it was electric. That's empty promises, empty calories is what I looked at it as. But switching the field here, going to the defense. The biggest thing for me in this game, normally I would go with the pass rush, but I felt like I went with the trenches on the offensive side of the ball. Last game, Christian Kirk torched this defense. He embarrassed Kenny Moore, got the better of Brandon Faison, even got the better of Stephon Gilmore. Is Julian Blackmon going to be back this game? He's practicing, but is he going to be back? The Rodney fan inside of me hopes he doesn't, but at the end of the day, Julian Blackmon is a better safety. It's going to the secondary is going to have to perform much better than it did in Jacksonville. Because again, Christian Kirk, for all the jokes everybody wanted to make about Christian Kirk and that huge contract, I don't think anybody was complaining about that contract when we lost 0-24. I don't think anybody was complaining about that. So far this season, 21 receptions, 338 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He's doing it. He's performing. He's playing at a high level. So the secondary for me is going to have to do its thing on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if Shaquille Leonard is going to be back right now. I mean, damn, he was listed on the injury report with like 3 different injuries: concussion, nose. I don't want to misspeak. I think a back was on there. I want to say, looking it up right now. Sorry, guys. Let me see here. Okay, I guess that didn't pick that up. Injury report. Got it up right now. Shaquille Leonard. Oh, yeah. Concussion, nose, and back. So he's dealing with that. He was listed as a non-participant, has not participated for 2 days. We'll see what's going on Friday, tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this, today, maybe. We'll see what the official word from Frank Reich is going to be. But I believe Zaire Franklin has done enough for me to feel okay with Bobby Okereke and Zaire Franklin being out there.
Yeah, that's a conversation for another day that I don't want to bring up right now, but I say this like constantly. I'm like, this defense doesn't need Shaquille Leonard on the field right now. Like, of course, him and Julian Blackman are both turnover prone, to get the football, but honestly speaking, like this defense has been playing lights out. They've been trying to keep the Colts in the game, so I feel like we really don't need them. We just still need to tweak the defense a little bit more Isaiah Rodgers Sr., a little bit more Rodney Thomas, and I feel like we can go get the football and start creating turnovers. But that's just another conversation. But for the linebacker group, Zaire Franklin is a beast at tackling. We've seen that flash with Bobby Okereke a few seasons ago when he pretty much led the league in tackling almost. He was a dog tackling the football. Only thing I really worried about Zaire was in coverage, but I mean everybody can pretty much fear that because our linebackers kind of stink in coverage, but it is what it is. Miscommunication almost every game between the secondary and the linebacker group, but hopefully that'll get fixed soon. But I feel like this defense can, pretty much hold another team like the AFC South accountable to at least splitting when it comes to playing each other twice. I feel like we can win this game for sure. I don't think this defense is going to get shut out twice. I think they took the last blow as like a hit in the face, and I think they're going to wake up even more because they did what they had to do in the second half. I mean, the offense just keeps them on the field and makes them gassed out of energy. So, I mean, it's only so much you can ask out of the defense personally. I think these games are more on the offense than the defense because we know the defense is going to bring it. I think what's going to take another hit is the special teams. Losing our guy Doolin out for 4 games, a really solid unit on the special team. So I'm pretty sure they're going to replace him with another gunner, but he was definitely a huge role in that group.
Yeah, I think if you look back for me, going back to the defense side of the ball, the past 2 games Trevor Lawrence has played against you, been easy work. Easy work. He's not even, again, he can just sit back there. He can smoke a brisket and go to sleep and wake up the next morning and check how it looks. That's how much time he has back there. So you got to make life uncomfortable for him. Right now, Jacksonville looks like the best team. I know Tennessee, people have their opinions about them. My opinion, Jacksonville looks like the best team in the division. We're certainly going to see this Sunday. The Colts should be pissed off. You didn't score a single point. You didn't even get close to scoring a point in Jacksonville. So you should be coming into this game. This is a game where I believe you don't need Frank Reich to have you ready. You scored 0 points. You, as a professional athlete, should have enough pride in yourself, your team, and your game to come out pissed off alone. In my opinion, in just my opinion, if they start out slow again, I know people are going to come out again. Frank Reich does not have this team ready. Why does Frank Reich need to have this team ready? This specific week, division game, you sucked the last 2 times you played them. They ended your season in horrible fashion. You scored 0 points. You don't need Frank Reich to have you ready in this game. You don't. You should already be motivated. You wake up Sunday, you're ready to knock somebody's head off. Already. You shouldn't get to the stadium, okay, where's Coach Reich? Where's that speech at? Whatever the case may be, man. This is just a game where I'm not looking for the Frank Reich excuses. This team should be ready to play, whether they want to put it on Frank Reich or not. This team should be ready to play.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Frank, the head coach, plays a big role in it too. But the players motivate themselves on a daily basis. They got their own game preparation. They have their own speeches in the huddle before kickoff, so they know what they got to do on a day-to-day basis. But your head coach got to have your back. I mean, it can't be like a freaking hand clap, a Jason Garrett type role. It can't be that. You got to get gritty. You got to get down to it. You got to have like that Mike Tomlin or that Robert Salah type of energy towards your team. Because those are two coaches that are going to motivate you and have your back, and they're going to inspire you to want to play good football as well. So we got to have that. I mean, we can't have positive energy throughout the head coach throughout the whole time. We got to have somebody that's going to be aggressive and have that negative energy. Like, hey, do your job. We got to have some type of guys like that. Like Robert Salah from the Jets. I love the energy every week. You see it. Holding them back from getting on the field and try to yell at the referees. They have that exciting energy, and they're playing pretty decent football. At the end of the year, that's a conversation for another day. But hey, it is what it is. That energy is definitely matching from the coaching staff to the players, and you got to have that on your team too, because you can see it's not in sync. It's not, and it's just unacceptable. I mean, it is what it is. But if you want to be the best football team, everybody got to be clicking on one accord. It's that simple.
Definitely, most definitely, guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into some predictions here for this game. The injury report looks very long, but I do think probably 90% of this injury report is going to be out there Sunday. I do believe Jonathan Taylor did return back to practice. You kind of hope he does return in this game because Nyheim Hines still dealing with that scary concussion right now. He's limited. That's not normal for somebody to be limited in a concussion protocol because, again, you're not doing anything with pads. You're just doing some light work, some individual drills. You're not doing any impact drills, 11 on 11 or anything like that. So you're only active, again, limited. That's what they mean. So, Marcus, you go first on this one. I'm still getting these thoughts together.
Yeah, for the game, talking about score predictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think I think it's going to be a low scoring game for sure. So I'm probably going to go in the 17-14 range. Justin Tucker's son, Chase McLaughlin, I think he's going to kick the game-winning field goal for the Colts. I feel like they're going to have a lot of field goals because they still struggle to get in the end zone. Why, I have no clue. But hey, like I said, at home, we've seen Jelani Woods score 2 touchdowns. We've seen Marley Cox score. It's something about that home field. I don't know what it is, but I do think the Colts are going to win this game by a field goal. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be a low scoring game. I don't think the Jaguars are going to put up 24. I mean, they did struggle last week, so hopefully that carries over into this week. I'm knocking on wood. Hopefully the pass rush can do something. Just please do something.
5 games into the season, and you have not scored more than 20 points in a game. Oh, man, where do I go with this game? A little bit conflicted, but for this game, I'm actually kind of surprised that I'm going this way, but I'm actually going to go with the Colts on this one. Again, like I mentioned earlier, you don't need Frank Reich to be hyped for this game. You don't need Frank Reich to be pissed off about this game, for this game, rather. You should already come in with that motivation. So I'm going to bank on that. I don't know what the starting 5 offensive line is going to look like, but I'm going to trust that Matt Pryor is not going to be on the field. So playing tackle. So that there's a plus already. If you're going to have Smith or Dennis Kelly out there, Will Fries at right guard or Smith at right guard, you name it. But I'm going to go with the Colts on this one. And I'm going to bank on this team doing what it's supposed to do, doing what it needs to do, and being ready the way they need to be ready. So I'm going to go with the Colts. Damn. Shocker, everybody. They're going to score over 20 in this game. I'm going to go with them 27-17 in this game. I'll go that way, 27-17.
Is this with or without Jonathan Taylor?
Oh, jeez. This is with Jonathan Taylor. With Jonathan Taylor.
Okay. That makes sense now.
With Jonathan Taylor. If they don't have Jonathan Taylor, okay, so if they don't have Jonathan Taylor, I will say the Jaguars win. Maybe I will say Jaguars 23, Colts 10. That's all I'll say.
Okay, I respect it.
I think you should at least score on your home field, right?
I'm not shocked at this point. As the Colts, I'm not shocked. They probably wouldn't. I mean, at least we're not Denver. They wouldn't boo us at home. So they'll do something. The defense will keep them from booing.
Hey, the Colts were booed when they went down 24-3 against Tennessee. So all I know is if the Colts lose this game, if they lose the next 2 games, boy,
Time for the brown bags over the head.
Nah, man. I'm not trying to like jump ahead or anything. But let's just say for the next 3, Jacksonville, Tennessee, and Washington, because Carson Wentz, the guy that Jim Irsay hates. If the Colts lose these next 3 games, man, I know a lot of people say they're not a fan of in-season firings, but I feel like if you lose these next 3 games, somebody's got to pay the price. Somebody needs to be held accountable for that. And I feel like it's going to be Frank Reich. If they don't win any of these 3 games, hell, at minimum, I think you should win 2 at minimum. So I'm just saying, if they win 3, if they lose these next 3 games, I don't see Frank Reich lasting past Halloween. So, damn, that would suck. Getting fired on Halloween? Damn.
Be a spooky weekend, ain't it?
Damn. Go out trick-or-treating. Hey, what are you going to be? Unemployed. Like, can you imagine that? Oh, man, Coach Reich, what are you here as? Unemployed. Like, oh, my gosh. Damn you, Michael, I hate you. But anyways, guys, this has been another fun episode of the Blue Stable Podcast. Make sure you are following myself and Marcus, a.k.a. Culture Shock. Make sure you're checking out the Blue Stable on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And make sure you're checking out the Blue Stable website as well, where we have plenty of content there for you, articles. You can find our podcast there as well. It is embedded on the site. So other than that, guys, Marcus, do you have any other closing remarks?
Yeah, Colts, just go out there and play football. Like, I know it's been a rough season, but if you need any type of inspiration, come to yours truly. Look at me. Come on, Colts. Who are we? Like what are we supposed to do here? Did we not hold this quota in the offseason where we mentioned the pass rush is back? Please show me on Sunday. Please. I would love to see that. I would love to see it. And to add on to another thing, when you was talking about earlier, when you talk about Quiddy Pay, we definitely could have got Jalen Phillips and Leo Eichberg out that draft, because that's what the Dolphins did. So I mean, they got the edge rush first, and then they got the offensive lineman. So when you was talking about it, I was looking it up. I was like, oh yeah, they did do that. So those are the two things. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Golly, well, before we leave out of here, because I almost forgot this. I almost forgot this important aspect that we were gonna do, guys. So we're gonna get into some questions here, and we're just gonna go. I guess you could say rapid fire on these. But Marcus, we did get some questions for this segment. So the first one is gonna be from Richardson. I hope I did not butcher your name, Richard. But he asked any potential trade targets before the deadline. Any potential trade targets? I don't think the Colts are going to be buyers this year. Well, I mean, when are they ever buyers? But I don't think this should be the year that you buy. I'm of the mindset that this is the year you trade up for your quarterback, and that is the only time you should give up draft capital, because obviously you're going to give up a pick for a player to help your team. But I'm of the mindset that they are not going to be a buyer at all this season, regardless. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, if they lose the next 3 games, I still don't believe that they're going to be buyers. So I will say they might even be sellers, but not buyers. So any potential trade targets? I mean, just to answer the question, maybe DJ Moore, not happy. Kenny Goff, oh man, I'll give them these freaking electronic wipes for Kenny Golladay right here. Yeah, other than that, man, there's nobody giving up a left tackle or anything. So for right now, I'd say DJ Moore.
Yeah, if we're being honest, like if they were going to trade for anyone, they could have just signed it, because there's still talent in free agency that they look over constantly week after week, even though they see the offense struggles, and they're like, no, we're content with doing what we want. I mean, if they wanted to go get defense, William Jackson doesn't want to be in Washington anymore. He came out adamant about that. That's another solid corner. I'll put him over Brandon Faison, but that's just another conversation for a day. For the offensive side, like I said, there's still plenty of wide receivers out there. Offensive linemen, hello, Coach and Ballard. There's still offensive linemen out there that you can get from out of free agency if you want to do that. They just got former Panther. I can't pronounce his name correctly. They signed him, so wondering if the Colts are going to use him or keep him on the practice squad, but that's another conversation. So I don't think they're going to be trading for anybody. They're not really known for doing that. They mostly trade on draft night, so that's just another concept. We're just going to have to stick with this. Sorry.
Going to a couple of Twitter questions we got here. One from Andy I-Man IU Fan 1, why do we insist on playing Pryor? Why not Dennis Kelly? Well, coming into the year, it made sense to start Matt Pryor. It just didn't make sense to start him at left tackle. If you wanted to start him at guard, maybe even right tackle, that made sense. But he's a guard. So why was he never at guard to begin with? That's on Ballard. That's his decision making. Remember, he's smarter than you are, so he can't be questioned. But this, like I said earlier in the show, this should be the game that I think Dennis Kelly or Will Fries make an appearance.
Yeah, definitely. This should be the wake up call that we're waiting for. Matt Pryor was just I guess he was just a blackball type of player. He's got put out in the fire, and he had to deal with the consequences of getting put on his butt, being exposed, looking like the security guard at the concert when he just let the people walk past. It's unfortunate for Pryor, but hey, somebody had to get blamed. So, hey, that's what Ballard did. He put Matt Pryor out there. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And that's the person he traded for, too. But that's a kind of conversation.
Mark is not pulling any punches here in this show. Going to the next one, Colts and Pacers fan/fan for life on Twitter. Why? Oh, okay. I think he was very angry when he worded this tweet. So I'm gonna he mistyped. So I'm gonna see if I can make it. Okay. Why can't Frank send to beat the Jags? Is it his why can't Frank seem to beat the Jags? Is it his run all the time on first down mentality, or he's just a subpar coach to Jags coach every year, to Jags coaches every year? I think the thing with the Jags, and it's not just with the Jags, it's with the Titans, it's with the Texans, it's with other teams, right, Marcus? I think his downfall is he relies on the run too much. I get you wanting to run, but at the same time, why is Jonathan Taylor getting 25, 30 carries a game? Why? Like, me personally, I just don't like that type of offense. It gets you into second and long, third and long, especially if your offensive line is not doing the greatest run blocking, which we've seen. It's not that great, but it looked like they found something in Nelson, Pinter, and Smith opening up lanes for Deion Jackson. So I would like to see a little bit more passing in this game against Jacksonville because they look like they stymied the run last game.
Yeah, just to piggyback off your conversation, like I said at the beginning of the year, it looked like Jonathan Taylor was hurt in the offseason, going into the season, and it was like forcing him to run the ball is like just kicking a dead horse. It's like it's not going to move. You have to stop trying to run the football. I mean, it got to the point where it looked like a Joe Gibbs offense. It was like run pass, run pass, run pass, and it got so formally identical that teams were just stacking the box and they still tried to run the football. So I don't understand what that was. And when Jonathan Taylor went out, I was like, well, that's fine for me because I didn't want to see us running the football anyway. Passing was going to have our best chance for the offense to do something. I mean, it is what it is when you get the interceptions and the forced fumbles because the offensive line still stinks. But hopefully, Jonathan Taylor can come back. They have the rotations fixed on the offensive line. He can see those holes and he can go back to his normal self. Like I said, he still has that injury. Just don't know how bad it is yet. But we do need him on Sunday for sure.
Most definitely, guys. And thank you for the Twitter questions, by the way. We're going to be doing these every game leading up into the game. We're going to do these every show, basically. We're going to be calling for them. So make sure when you see that tweet on Twitter, make sure you drop down in that comment section on the post on Twitter and put those questions down there below. The next one coming from M at Emmers, I believe I pronounced that right, on Twitter. Do you think they will start Isaiah Rodgers Sr.? I think it's time for him to start, though. I think it is, because if you go back to last game against Tennessee, Brandon Faison and Isaiah Rodgers were in the same position facing Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has a run up the middle. That's stuffed. So he bounces it outside. Brandon Faison, horrible effort on tackle, turns into a touchdown. Later on in the game, Isaiah Rodgers, same situation. You stuff the run, bounces outside. Isaiah Rodgers lost for 2 yards on a tackle. So things like that are a very big impact, where I think by now, I think Isaiah Rodgers should start this game.
He should have been starting since the season started, in my opinion. I think all Colts fans were on the same page as that Isaiah Rodgers Sr. is the dog, and he made his presence known last year, and he's only have gotten better game by game. I mean, of course, you bring in your own guy, Brandon Faison, with Gus Bradley, but to be honest, we know who the more raw talent is, the fastest corner on the team, and he has pure athleticism that I might add. I mean, he shows it in practice almost every week. We see so much blurry footage like Festus Ezeli's recording it, but he shows that he's very good and very talented with the one-hand interceptions, pretty much baiting Matt Ryan into throwing something stupid. But Isaiah Rodgers Sr. is a dog. We seen it last year when he picked up Brady. Yada, yada, yada. We get it. He's a dog. Put him on the field, and he can tackle. Another thing I might add, because tackling can be an issue for secondaries, and is not with Isaiah Rodgers Sr. So start him, please. Move on. Next.
Shout out M on Twitter for giving us this question, by the way. The last one here, Webby, at Webby2495 on Twitter. His question will be, will Jelani get more touches this game? I feel like he is a player between the 20s. Is he going to get a lot of touches? Maybe not. I think you're going to go with Pittman, going to go with Campbell, Pierce. Well, Pittman, Pierce, Campbell. You're going to go with those guys. I think when you get into the red zone, though, Jelani Woods should never come off the field in the red zone. You need that towering presence on the field. You have to have that, whether if it's, and I said it when he was drafted, he is the better receiving option than Mo Alley Cox. I have been proven right so far this season. Even Kylan Granton is getting ahead of him. So 3 years, 18 million. Jelani Woods is showing why he should be on the field. So I think in the red zone, there should not be a play where Jelani Woods is off the field. He should get every rep inside the red zone. And I think the Colts' chances for getting a touchdown improve drastically.
Yeah, absolutely. He's proven in his debut, like when he got the football, he's a red zone threat. There was no questions about it. It's a jump ball. We talked about it all offseason when we acquired him, how tall he is and how good he can be, and how he was a tight end coming into the draft. Marley Cox had to develop that skill, but Jelani Woods was that dog already, and he's shown it when he got his chance. 2 touchdowns in the same game as a rookie. Like, come on, that's ice cream for Matt Ryan that loves throwing the football to tight ends anyway. So having him on the field, he needs to get more touches, especially when we get to that place on the field where we can't seem to score. It's because your most targeted guy that needs to be in the game's on the sideline. Hello, wake up, Colts. Put him in the game. Let's go. What are we waiting on?
Most definitely, guys. And thank you guys for the Facebook and Twitter questions. We absolutely appreciate it so much. This has been another episode of the Blue Stable Podcast. We will check you guys out on Sunday night, when we record our post game. Again, we will have another tweet out there for Twitter questions post game. Hopefully, if it's a win, hopefully it's not a loss. So other than that, guys, we will see y'all here in the next few days. Y'all have a good one. Have a good weekend. Enjoy some college football. Don't drink too much. I'm certainly going to be repping them TCU Horned Frogs. Bay already repping here on a Thursday. Marcus, man, you probably don't care about college football, by the way. You're a Houston Rockets fan, so you're just waiting for next year's draft in June. So other than that, man, any colleges for you?
Can we just have your wide receiver? That's all I ask. I don't watch college, though.
Can we just what?
Can we draft your wide receiver from TCU?
Oh, man. You mean Quentin Johnston? Dude, I've been watching Quentin Johnston since he was like 12 years old, dude. Born and raised in Temple, Texas, man. Dude was a star, man. And
he's a dog. I mean, Ballard likes drafting, like the draft process. There you have it, another wide receiver. Happy birthday.
You have it. There you go. Do your damn job. If you're not going to draft a left tackle early, then it might as well go with a wide receiver, right? So other than that, guys, again, have a great weekend. We will see you all on Sunday or Monday.